Hey everyone, if you're just joining us, we're going to be waiting about 3 minutes for everyone to join in, and then once we're in, we're going to get started. Thanks for coming. Hello there. If you're just joining us, we're going to wait a few more minutes before the ceremony begins so that everyone that wants to join can have a chance to get on. Okay, we're going to wait just one more minute, and then we're going to get this thing started. So thanks for waiting. And if you know your teammates or anyone has not joined the Zoom call yet, encourage them to get on. Okay, we're going to get started. Hey everyone, thanks for coming to the closing ceremony for SmartHacks 2020, one of the South's first middle school hackathons and one of the largest hackathons I've ever run. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure having you as contestants, and all of your submissions were incredibly cool. They blew us away. The standards were incredible. So just thank you for being here, and we're going to get this slideshow rolling. Next slide.
All right, so we'd like to start off by thanking all of our sponsors, 1Password, Bugsy, Open Water, Taskade, Interview Cake, and CloudStrap for sponsoring our event and giving us so many nice awards for all of you guys and helping us make this hackathon possible. Okay, so first we'll start by having our closing ceremony speaker, Esteban, and Esteban is here, so I will give the floor to him.
Hey everyone, thank you so much. Special thanks to Stephanie for reaching out to me, Daniel for setting this whole thing up, Rich, Etienne, you guys are really awesome for putting on this this event. I'm amazed. This is huge. So hi guys, my name is Esteban. I'm a rising sophomore at Stanford. I'm studying computer science. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to focus on, but I just know that I really love computer science. So let's see. I wanted to thank all of you guys for taking the leap to do something like a hackathon, especially at such a I don't want to say young age, but so early on in your your academic careers, your professional careers. That's really awesome. You guys are taking a huge leap. I didn't do a hackathon until I was in high school, and my senior year at that. So I'm really impressed by all the initiative that has gone into um, not only putting on the hackathon, but joining the hackathon and giving it 100%. So I want to congratulate you on finishing a week of really interesting workshops, some really deep brainstorming, and the completion of your projects. Sticking with something from beginning to end through all of the hardships, through all of those bumps and turns, until you found something that you really felt comfortable with saying, hey, we gave it our best shot, we turned it in, this is what we stand for. And that is just one really great example of perseverance. And that's a topic that I'd like to expand upon and let you know that, perseverance takes you really far, not just here, but all the way into the future. Think about some of you are going to start high school soon or are already in high school. You have to do a lot of group projects. You have to do a lot of little things, little stepping stones that feel kind of really pointless or tedious. But if you persevere through them, it shows that one, that you have a lot of grit, a lot of grit. You can get through those little hardships, and it shows that you can stick through with something to the end. Start it from start to finish. Um, and what a lot of people do lose sight of is that all of this is training or leading up to joining the workforce, getting a job. Now that seems like very, very far away for a lot of you. For myself even. I'm not looking for a job yet, and I'm in college, right? Probably should start looking. But for all of you guys, that's probably 10 years down the road, 10 years plus. And it's not something you have to worry about. But remember that all these little experiences that you are doing on a daily basis, it's one day going to make a huge impact in the world, because you're going to be doing some really great things out there that help a lot of people and have real world impact. Not that what you're doing right now isn't real world impact. That's what I want to express to you guys. Like, you guys are doing amazing things just by taking the initiative here. So perseverance will serve you throughout your entire life. Don't forget what you did during this week. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. And I know that a lot of you, or actually all of you guys, had to work in teams, right, to get your projects done. That is such a valuable skill, to be able to work with other people to complete a goal. Despite maybe you had differences in opinion. Maybe you had, I know that sometimes when I solution. So working as a team, working with the team, and learning how to deal with people that sometimes don't agree with you, or perhaps just like outright dislike you, is a really important skill for you to learn now and into the future. It's very applicable to the job workforce. I'm currently working with a company right now that is developing a telehealth app, and all of the communication is between the team, and there's a client that wants specific things, and there's a team that has to try to deliver as best as they can, and they don't always see eye to eye. A lot of it has to do with money. So really learning how to navigate these interpersonal relations is going to be so helpful to you in the future. And you guys have taken a really great first step by working together as a team and achieving a goal. All right. So what comes next after all of this? You're like, Esteban, I've learned all this stuff, and you're saying kind of some cool things. I get it. But but what do you want me to do with it? I'll tell you. So you have this project that you worked on, right? What's the next step? What are you going to do more with it? I know you say you're finished or it's completed, but ask yourself, do you really want to stop here? Can you take this further? Can you build out your prototype? Can you further troubleshoot it, debug it, find every single flaw so that it works perfectly 100% of the time? Can you expand upon it? Can you add additional features? Did you think about accessibility? Is this accessible to people who are blind, deaf? Perhaps they are paralyzed? These are all very notable areas where people have to make improvements that they don't initially think of at the first time. But as an advocate for the blind and visually impaired community myself, there are things that I see in a lot of corporate applications today that don't support these communities. And it's not like blind people don't want to use applications. We do. It's just, sometimes you can't because they weren't built that way. So think about what more can you do to expand and improve upon what you have. Think about outside the box. Think about different communities and different accessibility points. They're very important just to really make sure you have a thorough grasp and understanding of your entire audience. So better, more efficient. That's all part of that idea of perseverance, to keep going until really you have the highest form possible that you could ever come up with. Okay. And perhaps maybe you don't have a finished product or something that you can like go out to a VC and say, hey, can you invest in this? Perhaps you just have an idea, but you're not really sure how to pursue it. Maybe a couple years from now, you think of a really great way that people could drink grape juice that they're not doing right now. I know, crazy. What do you do first? Well, I always, when I have an idea or have questions, I just go Google it. A lot of people underestimate the power of Google. People think, oh, I need like a CS professor to answer this question, or I need my TA or some other authority figure. Most of the time, you can just find it online. So that's one big piece of advice I have for you. Please consider just Googling something and see if you can figure it out. If you can't figure it out there, just by Google searching it, YouTube is amazing. Videos have always been just the way that I have learned a lot of niche things. And they always happen to be much more explicative than an article, or especially Wikipedia articles, which tend to be a little bit dense. You can always find a good video on YouTube explaining how to fix something, build something, troubleshoot something. I use it even in my work as fixing people's internet, right, at home. A lot of times I just Google the problems and someone has already solved it for me. So use your resources. Think outside of the box. Like, you don't have to have someone who is an expert on the knowledge that you're curious about to learn more about that specific field. If you're interested in learning a language, I know there was a couple workshops, some on machine learning, entrepreneurship, various workshops on those. I don't know if they covered a full language of a full programming language in those workshops. It'd probably be pretty difficult to do that. But if you're curious about just continuing to learn more languages, more advanced concepts in the languages that you're already familiar with, I highly recommend Code Academy. No, I'm not sponsored by Code Academy, I promise. I just use it to brush up on some of my coding skills sometimes when I get rusty. So definitely recommend using it to pick up a new language or remind yourself how to use an old one. And then I have here, reach out to people who have experience in the area that you're interested in. If, for example, that I was trying to figure out a better way to drink grape juice, I would probably want to find someone who makes grape juice. This could be in your local community. Maybe I have a friend of mine whose dad works at the local Welch's factory or is a manager there and he knows the process. Or perhaps you just find somebody's name online while you're Google searching it and you send them an email. It's as simple as that. You really don't have to be shy about it, because I'll be honest with you, people love talking to and working with people who share the same passions as themselves. Like, who doesn't love talking about their favorite thing in the world, right? That's exactly what you're going to do when you find an expert on grape juice making, right? So you probably won't be able to shut them up. So really, don't be afraid to come out of your shell. I know you guys say like, oh, I'm in 6th grade perhaps, and you won't give me the time of day. But actually, I feel it's the exact opposite. I would be much more interested if a 6th grader came to me asking about computer science than a college student who's taking, like the same course level as me. I would be like, dude, you're in the same class as me, just go watch the lecture. But if someone in 6th grade came to me, I would be very impressed and really honored that that person thought I was knowledgeable enough to do that, to talk about the subject, and was actually curious enough to email me and take the time to do that. So please, don't be scared. In fact, if you do have any ideas or you just want some advice, please feel free to email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat, and just say that you're from SmartHacks, right? Just say where you guys are from. SmartHacks, you came from SmartHacks. Let me know what your idea is and have a couple questions, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. I'll just drop that in the chat. And this goes for everybody. If you have questions really on life in general, maybe school, college, feel free to just send me an email and I'll try to get back to you. Okay, where were we? All right, so now I'm going to talk about a subject that is maybe not something you have to worry about right now, but I do want you to be aware and kind of think about it as you go through your academic careers. So you may have heard of this thing called artificial intelligence, and you may have saw some videos or some I'll call it propaganda, propaganda that oh, they're taking our jobs. Automation is taking all of our jobs. There's not going to be any jobs left. And I hate to say it, but yeah, that's true. But not in the way that you think. Automation is taking over a lot of jobs, right? Like in the car factory. You've got self-driving cars coming up shortly. Probably Uber will no longer rely on drivers. Lawyers will probably also go extinct eventually because computers can follow rules much better than people. So when you think about that, you start to think, wow, a lot of these jobs are just going to disappear. What's going to happen? Well, it's surprising, maybe not surprising. The people who program those artificial intelligence and computers are going to be the people with jobs. So you guys are taking a really good first step in that direction. And as always, ideation, the ability to come up with like ingenious ideas, come up with creative projects, that type of thinking is always invaluable. No artificial intelligence can automate that process. So what you guys did this week, invaluable. You can go and try to sell that at some company. Be like, we just created an idea of ideas. I don't know, maybe it'll work. But my point is that you guys don't have to be afraid of this whole idea of like artificial intelligence just taking all the jobs, because think of it as an evolution of jobs. We don't have people who light, I don't know if you guys know or know about this, but back in the old days, they had these lampposts that they had this guy light all the lampposts because they were all like oil lamps, and then you'd have to snuff them out in the morning, right? We don't have that job anymore. Everything's electric, right? But back in the day, we had to have someone do that. And it's going to be the same way coming into the future. We're not going to have someone be a lawyer, but there's still going to be need for people to design the artificial intelligence that could be a lawyer, right? It's just a shift in how jobs are being created and shift in the needs of the people and the services that are required. So I know this might be a little bit too far down the line to think about, but consider the jobs that you feel like only you can do, right? Only you can come up with your ideas. Only you can come up with the type of, passion, perseverance, and effort that you have. That's very unique to you, and no amount of artificial intelligence can copy that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is try to find a place for you in the future's workforce, because that can't be copied. I don't know what jobs are going to be in the future, but I'm sure that there will be a place for all of you guys who took the initiative, um, found a new idea, and completed a project that from start to finish, you really showed people that you can stick with something. And that's probably the the thing that people at jobs are looking for the most, right? That you're loyal. Um, Kind of like how would I look in a friend, right? Reliable, loyal, kind, that sort of thing. Now, let's see. All right. So I'm going to start wrapping up this talk in the next couple of minutes. Um, just a brief once over. Don't forget perseverance. If you have an awesome idea that you believe in, stick with it. That goes for anything you're really passionate about. It doesn't have to be an idea. It can be a field that you're interested in. Maybe you built a really cool robot, something like that. Just keep at it. Keep with it. Okay. Keep steadily working towards that goal. You've got plenty of time. You guys are really young compared to me. I'm not saying that I'm an old fogey, but you guys have plenty of time to just explore and find what you're really passionate about. Regardless of if you are successful or not, maybe they don't take your new idea for drinking grape juice because it's just not that good, right? Well, it's too bad, but you're building a really strong foundation of skills, right? You've learned how to prototype, you learn how to debug, troubleshoot, you learn how to ideate, you learn how to go through the whole design process. That's invaluable. You worked with a team. You have the skills that are necessary for the future. And you're building a really great list of contacts and friends who will be able to help you out in the future. Nothing is wasted, ever. Don't worry, you are going to have a job. The future will be different, but much like that lamppost lighter, careers and necessary services will change and will continue to grow, right? Um, I personally think there's going to be more emphasis on making things by hand, the things that only human people can do, human beings can do. So I guess if I had to summarize this in like one sentence, I'd say the future is bright, especially for you all. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening to my short talk. And I guess if you have any questions, you can drop them in the Q&A and I'll try to answer them. And then I will hand over the reins back to the bosses. Thank you guys.
So we've got some really good questions in the Q&A. First, what would you recommend one of the attendees, like a middle or a high schooler, to do to prepare for college?
Sure. So preparing for college is something that I feel like a lot of people approach the wrong way. People approach that in thinking, what classes am I supposed to take? What looks good for college? But I feel like it should be more about what do you find is really exciting for you, right? What do you find that you can give 110% of your attention, that you could spend all day doing, that you could just never give up? That is my advice, is try out a ton of different stuff. Try out, when I was in middle school, I tried different sports. I was like taking fencing. I don't know if we have any fencers here. I was, let's see, I was part of a robotics team. Try out all different sorts of activities and see what really makes you want to just do that for forever and ever. I remember in 8th grade, I got really into a card game. I wanted to be the best at that card game ever. So I researched, I watched YouTube videos, I went really hard. I competed at some tournaments. And you know what? At the end of the day, I feel like, I could have made a pretty good card player, but I didn't have time anymore. So, but at least I know that if I really wanted to, I could have pursued that and I would have been happy. So my advice to you is find something that you're really, really, really passionate about, something that you can write about, something that you can really geek out over. And the colleges will see that and say, you know what, we need someone unique like that. We need someone who has that kind of drive and that kind of passion. Yeah.
And our second and I guess final question is, how do we know if a website on Google is trustworthy, and how do we know which website provides the most information?
That's a great question. So I'm not going to give like a full, checking your sources lecture right now, but generally what I like to do is I don't trust one site. I will check 3 or 4 and see if I can get a consensus. Even if you have some trustworthy sites and not trustworthy sites, you will have a variety of opinions regardless. So what I would do is check a couple of those sites, 4 or 5, see what answers you get. You can always, if it's a code related answer, I would just try it out for yourself and see what happens. That's always a good way. If it's something just knowledge in general, trust your gut. The consensus is usually right. Always go for reputable sources. So if you see something like New York Times, a name that you've seen a lot, I think Nature for scientific journals, that sort of thing. So very reputable sources. If you've heard of it, it's probably a good source. So that's my advice. Don't just trust one site. Next question.
Oh, somebody did ask, what kind of competitions did you do during middle school?
What kind of competitions did I do during middle school? Let's see. During middle school, I actually only did robotics. That was the only kind of competition. I'm a pretty average student. I'm not I don't have any gold medals for math Olympics or anything like that. I'm a very average student. I just kind of got into whatever I was really into at that moment, and I went 110%. Robotics, I would just build on our robot way past when all the other members would leave, and try to get shave off a couple seconds off of our time for our run. That was the kind of guy I was, and hopefully still am today. So you don't need to do a ton of competitions and really like work yourself to the bone during middle school. Try to enjoy yourself a little bit, high school, you do want to start thinking about your grades and making sure that you are keeping those up. But middle school, try to have fun. Find what really excites you, and then pursue that during high school. Go, next question.
Well, I suppose that answered the other question, which asked, what do you think got you into Stanford? And what you just said is really related to what colleges want to see in kids. They don't want to see bots, right?
Right. Like, okay. There is something called standard excellent, right? My college counselor was like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. There is 10,000 high school valedictorians in the United States, right? They all have 4.0 GPAs. They all have a shining list of achievements. How is a college supposed to decide if you have 10,000 number ones? How do you decide what's above that? Or how do you decide which of them to take? And really, the answer to that is you have to find somebody who isn't just numbers and awards. You have to find somebody with a personality, find somebody who has passion, who, when they go to your school, will try to start a new club, will try to start a new initiative, will really try to shake things up and be a good member of the community. That's the type of people colleges are looking for. They've got plenty of people who can get perfect grades, but they don't have as many people who are willing to try to, shake things up, make a change, make a difference in their surroundings.
Yeah, and you said that you had to go at 6:30, right?
It's okay. I can answer at least until we finish like the list of questions.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So somebody asked, where do you think we should go looking for other hackathons in high school?
Sure. So honestly, if you type in to Google, you'll find a ton. One that I was considering doing in high school was Metro Hacks. I'm not sure if they're virtual now, but you can type in maybe a city near you that had, and then hackathon after it, and see what comes up. You can look up online hackathons. Those also provide quite a few, and you're not constrained by distance. It's very easy just to look them up online. As I said, I'm a very staunch supporter of using Google.
So somebody else asked something that you touched on quite a bit in your presentation, and it was, does computer science help you later on in life, and does it depend on the job you acquire?
Yeah, sure. I love this question. This question is fantastic. Does computer science help you later in life? You know what? That really depends on what field you end up going into, and the degree that it'll help you out also depends. But I like to think of computer science as a way of thinking, right? It's a methodology. You're trying to solve a problem in the most efficient, most slick. So maybe you're cheating, but it's actually just ingenious. And that's what I like to apply to the world. How can I shave down a couple seconds when I need to wash my laundry, wash the dishes, and make my bed within half an hour? And you can make optimizations in how you maybe you take half of the stairs, upstairs, finish that, and then make your bed while you're up there while the laundry is in there. And then you finish the rest when you're coming back down. So these type of optimizations can happen in your everyday life, even though they're concepts that we kind of think about in computer science. Also, computer science is an extremely flexible field. You can apply it to pretty much anything, right? Let's say math, right? That's an easy one. The graphing calculator you use, someone programmed that. Let's talk chemistry. When you have to like balance equations, if you have a lot of data that you got to parse through, sort through, you're going to probably use computer science and data analysis for that. So it's really applicable to any field that you so desire. You can always find a way to incorporate computer science thinking and maybe even computer science coding itself into whatever you choose to do.
Okay, there's one final question before we will end this session. By the way, thank you so much for coming. It means a lot to us. And so the final question is, do you have any tips for being an excellent speaker like you are?
Oh, thank you. I'm going to be honest. I did not have as much time to prepare for this speech as I would have liked. So I'm sorry that it wasn't the perfect 30-minute chunk. But being a good speaker, it's a little bit different in Zoom than in real life. But I think there's still a couple things that that make it, just good practices. One is when I have a speech, I don't like to write it out word for word. And the reason is that if you try writing it out word for word and then you read it, it sounds like a robot. It sounds like if Siri is reading you your speech, and that's not good. That's not really that great for speech writing. I would say try to put down the points and try to say what you're going to say at that time to connect your points together, but don't actually write it down. Don't actually write it down word for word, because you know what? You're going to change it on the fly. I know I did that today. I added a little bit, subtracted a little bit. And that's one way to really improve the flow of your speech. Another way is enunciation. I have pretty bad enunciation. I'm not going to lie. I have been told that I mumble my words, and I'm really sorry about that. Also, speaking too fast sometimes is a problem, especially for me. So try to pace yourself, try to give a little bit of a cadence to your audience so that they they kind of feel the wave of where you're going. It's a lot, yeah, it's kind of like poetry speaking. Obviously, look at the audience, try to look around and stuff. This was all stuff that I was taught, but in Zoom, I don't know how applicable it is. So would say speaking clearly, speaking slowly, and try to connect those thoughts together is definitely the best way.
Thank you so much for coming again. We know that you're on a time crunch, and also I bet that our attendees are waiting for the prizes.
All right. Good luck, you guys. Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations to all of you guys out there. Take care.
Yes, thank you, Esteban.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've noticed that a lot of you guys had amazing projects that you created. Some of them were engaging the community, some of them had to do with education, and like Esteban said, it would be awesome if you guys could just go one step further, because this hackathon is step one, right? Go one step further, maybe create a nonprofit, maybe create a business, maybe reach out to other people in the community, maybe write an article, or maybe even launch your website. There's plenty of opportunities out there for you, and you've just completed step one. So with the awards, okay, so everybody who participated gets free upgrades from Taskade and Interview Cake. We wanted to award you for working so hard this week to create something original.
Before we move on, I want to tell the tell all the attendees what Taskade and Interview Cake really do. Yeah, I'm seeing a few questions, so go ahead and can you like move? Yeah, let me just tell you guys what those are. So Taskade is basically a tool that allows you to create flowcharts and allows you to organize your work basically. So they have like some basic features, and all of you guys will be able to get the premium features because of your hard work in the hackathon. And Interview Cake is something that you'll use in your search for summer and remote internships. Although you guys, I know a lot of you guys are pretty young and may not be thinking about getting internships yet, but that is a pretty big part of a lot of people's extracurricular activities, and they're launching themselves into the professional world basically. So a lot of the times when you try to land interviews, you're going to need to when you try to land internships, you're going to need to do an interview. So Interview Cake is here to help you master the art of programming interviews and help you land your dream internship opportunities that can be pretty difficult to navigate otherwise. So you'll get a free 1-month access to the course.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answers a few of you guys' questions and clarifies some things about the awards that you're going to get.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephanie. And it sounds like, well, these are awesome resources to get your idea launched as well. All right. Stephanie, do you want to also go over Bugsy?
Sure. So Bugsy is a program that helps you debug your code, basically. And those of you guys who are runner-ups, so basically 2 teams will receive $100 in Bugsy credits that you can use for this software to help debug your code. And we all know debugging is a pretty annoying process, and so you can use Bugsy to help you in that process. And finally, for the first place winner of the hackathon, you're going to receive a 6-month token prize for 1Password. And 1Password is essentially a tool that you can use to securely keep track of your passwords and like basically it's basically a secure storage unit, and you get a 6-month free token prize for that for each member. And also for Bugsy was also $100 in credits for each member as well.
Oh, and just a quick comment about the prizes. You guys will not have to submit a Google form for these prizes or anything like that, because we'll simply send your email to the company, and then after that, they'll hook you up with all of the awesome prizes that they have prepared for you. So yeah, hopefully you guys are excited for that.
All right, so I'm gonna announce them now. Can we have a drum roll?
Woo!
So congratulations to the Little Things who got the runner-up. So what was their project? Well, their project was based upon the fact that a lot of the problems that occurred during the pandemic had to deal with people not being happy. And so they thought, well, if we could create a site based on inspirational quotes, then it could lift up people's emotions. They used HTML and JavaScript in their website, and they researched lots of inspirational quotes. So we're going to show you a bit of their project on the next slide. All right, so this is their website, and you can click what you feel today, and it'll give you lots of information for happy. I guess it doesn't, but let's say somebody was stressed. It's pretty cool. Congratulations, guys. All right.
And for our other runner-up, we wanted to congratulate Cody and Krithik for their website interface online learning courses. So pretty much, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of schools ended up shutting down, which made it kind of difficult for people to get access to learning resources. So what Cody and Krithik's website was meant to do was create this sort of platform where people could organize different courses and add in different sorts of handouts that students and other people trying to learn things could view. In addition, they also created pages for challenge questions, as well as places for people to answer homework, and a system that would automatically grade and show them the solution. So great job. And in addition, so as sort of a quick description, the online learning courses is a learning course for students in the 3rd to 5th grade. It uses HTML, LaTeX, Python, Streamlit, and Overleaf to sort of combine together to create this really great interactive platform. It has a lot of interactive quizzes and handouts ranging from all different grade levels, which explain each topic, and the quiz checks if they understood the concept. So once again, congratulations to Cody and Krithik for creating this really interesting learning website.
All right, so next is the honorable mentions, and we're going to be going over these honorable mentions right before you see the first place winner, because what we want to emphasize in this hackathon is that everyone's submission was awesome. Everyone blew me away in terms of how great these submissions were. Even for middle schoolers, your submission project quality was often at or even above many high school project levels. So a massive round of applause to everyone. And here are just 2 of the projects that didn't quite make the top 3, but that we also liked. The first one is SmartHacks by Christian Lucas. And SmartHacks is it's actually a command line Python application for you to practice quickly solving math problems. But I really, really liked, and I think all of the judges can agree on this, we really enjoyed how it was implemented. If you look at their code, which you can't see on the screen, obviously, it uses multiple Python scripts to actually create a SQL database. And then this SQL database keeps track of your analytics and your progress over time. So we thought that was great, and we thought it was a very excellent implementation at the junior high level. The second project, which gets an honorable mention, is Bones of the Body by Prisha Goyal. I'm sorry for butchering that name because my pronunciation is terrible. And this one was it's like anatomy based. It allows you to quickly learn the bones of the body, and it quizzes you over it. And we really liked how it guides you through that learning process and how interactive the project was. Even for a Scratch project, which we all know that Scratch is really cool and versatile, but it's not the most flexible of programming languages. So we thought it was really cool how you managed to implement that and make it as immersive as it was. So congratulations to our honorable mentions. We're now going to be moving on to the big first place winner.
So let's all get ready for the big reveal, and go ahead and let's show them who won.
Before I click the next slide though, I want to emphasize that it was really difficult for us to pick the top 3 and the honorable mentions. You guys submitted absolutely amazing projects, and a lot of them were really creative. And so it was a really difficult process, and we spent a lot more time than we expected looking through the projects because they were all really good.
Yes. So that being said, I want to congratulate you all, regardless of what placing you got. But yeah, here is our first place winner, The Educational Game Maker by Jonathan, Anthony, and Michael. So essentially what this was a website and game maker that allowed people to input their custom questions in there. And then after creating those custom questions, then the educational game maker then transferred those questions to allow people to play a game. And each time they received like I don't know, but each time they got somewhere into the game, they would receive one of the questions and the player would have to answer it. So this was a really, really interactive and creative way to help people learn more about any concept that the instructor wanted. So Yitan is actually going to show you guys a live demo about how this educational game maker works, because it really just blew us away.
Yeah, so here it is. You can see they have a demo game, and they also had an option to create a game, which was really cool. So here's the demo game. All right, there we are. And so you move back and forth to avoid the obstacles at first, just like a lot of the computer games that we've played. And once a golden heart pops up, it's not popping up yet, but once it does, you get to answer a question. Let's wait until a golden heart pops up. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. This was created very well. Oh, there it is. And then you can answer a question, which is really cool. So, oh, I got it wrong. Anyway, congratulations, guys. And it was kind of anticlimactic when I got it wrong, but it gives you more lives, yay. Really amazingly created game. Yeah, and I guess that's the end of our presentation. So panelists, do you have anything that you want to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate, thank you for coming. This was one of the most successful, I would say, probably most successful middle school hackathon in like the Southern United States, if not the whole country. And as always, thank you for coming. Thank you for putting your time into this week. We really enjoyed seeing all of your projects, and whether you won or not does not really make a difference in how much you want your project to succeed. If you want to keep working on it, if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact us. I think I'm going to send our email actually, or does one of the other panelists want to send the official email?
SmartHacks@kidteachkid.org.
Stay tuned to our nonprofit Kid Teach Kid for more opportunities like these. Stephanie and Yitan and Rich do lots of great work in this nonprofit as a whole, and I was honored to work with them to help organize this hackathon. So thank you to everyone, and congratulations once again to the winners. What amazing projects we had.
So something I just want to quickly add is that when we started creating this hackathon, I had like no expectations for the projects being created. But then when we got to the judging, I was like completely blown away by the quality of everything that we received. Like in all three of the categories, education, community impact, and health, we received projects that I definitely did not expect to come out of this hackathon. And as you can, and they were all extremely close. Like you can see that out of the top 5, all of the submissions were really close. They were all really great. And yeah, I'm just really surprised and really impressed at just the quality of the work you guys managed to submit. So really great job, everyone. Thanks so much for participating.
So before we conclude, I think we do have a few questions that were asked in the Q&A, and I would like to address a few of them. Someone asked if we can send the links of the projects of the top places. I don't think we're going to do that just because we didn't really get permission from the competitors to do so. But if you want to reach out to them, feel free to do so.
If you're a winner of any of the top prizes, honorable mention, third place, first place, and you want to share your project, you feel feel free to do so in the Discord server. Just put it in general. I think everyone would love it. We can pin it to the board as well.
Yeah, and what about advice and feedbacks for the project? Is that also in the Discord?
We'll probably evaluate advice and feedback on a case-by-case basis. So if you're interested in receiving feedback for your project, then you can email us at the email that I said above, so smarthacks@kidteachkid.org. And then we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can.
Additionally, the Discord server is going to stay open. Discord servers aren't like, they don't cost money to keep open. So just keep it open. And if you have questions, feel free to ask us there as well.
So someone asked in the chat, how are you going to get the upgraded and the free trials? So our sponsors just need your email to sort of send you the link to get the upgrade and the free trials. So just make sure that if you don't receive the email, it might be in your spam folder or something like that. So just keep your eyes out for an email from Taskade and Interview Cake.
All right, I guess that's everything. Again, thank you guys for attending our workshops, submitting for our hackathon. We really enjoyed seeing your projects too as judges, and I'm sure that you guys have a long way to go in your journey. I know that was a little bit cheesy, but it's true.
Have a great rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. And we hope to see you guys at our next Kid Teach Kid event. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, thank you for coming.